Good.
All right, when you're ready.
All right, buenos dias, good morning. My name is Jaime-Diaz. I'm a doctoral student in culture, literacy, and language at the Department of Bicultural Bilingual Studies here at UTSA. This morning, I will be presenting about the colonization of Tejas. And I'm going to present the history of Tejas from a different perspective, from a Mexican-American point of view. The objectives of this lesson will be to apply a different historical lens to history and also apply critical thinking to determine and focus how oppression works and continues to subjugate ethnic minority groups. Rudy Acuña at Cal State University, Northridge in California, Dr. Rudy Acuña once said, history can either liberate or oppress a person. How you are depicted in the history books determines how you will feel about yourself in society. So in this land, how many of you are from Tejas or Texas? All of you, okay, so this is going to hit home. When people started migrating to Tejas in the early 1800s, there was a Great Depression in the South. And many people were allowed, one of them was Stephen Austin. A lot of you know who Stephen Austin was, right? Austin, Tejas, the city is named after him, all right. Got permission by the Spanish government at the time to migrate into Texas and establish colonies. And they were told they could settle in Texas. But the basis of that was they would have good moral character, accept the Catholic religion, and accept all rules that the government implemented upon the community. Many Euro-Americans started migrating into Texas at the time and establishing colonies throughout southern Tejas. There was something really unique though about that migration because during that time a notion began to emerge in the Euro-American society, and it would manifest destiny. Have any of you heard of that term, manifest destiny? Superiority, right, of the white race over all other ones. As you can see in this picture, there was this connotation that they would civilize the savage tribes, civilize the Mexican people. So in a sense, racism was embedded in that ideology. There was this notion also that Euro-Americans would rule from sea to shining sea. The United States was beginning to expand. So they believed, there was a God-given right to expand from east to west. I mean, you know what the Alamo is? All right, Battle of the Alamo. So 1830s comes around, there's a mass migration. You only have about 4,000 people in Tejas that are Mexican descent. And I mean, the Anglo-American population begins to grow, steadily grow. And Mexican people are starting to see as inferior. Anglo-Americans, according to manifest destiny, would reject the laws implemented by the Mexican government. One thing that they struggled with was slavery. A lot of people that migrated from the South brought their slaves with them. So in order to try to curtail the immigration of Anglo-Americans from the South, slavery was banished in Tejas. And that created an outrage within the community, within the Anglo community. And an insurrection began, which eventually would lead to the Battle of the Alamo. A lot of us are told, draw the line in the sand, and we're talking notions of chauvinism and nationalism. But one must look deeply into history to see how those ideologies have influenced contemporary times. A lot of the people that were inside the Alamo were white supremacists. They were slave owners, and they did believe in white supremacy. When Tejas did become the Lone Star Republic, as it was termed, and still is today as a state, it wasn't the Mexican population that insurrected. It was the Anglo population. It was something that was prepared ahead of time to seize land under the notion of manifest destiny. We remember the Battle of the Alamo as David Crockett, as William Travis, and I think that guy with the knife, Jim Bowie. But we never mentioned about the Mexican people that died fighting that too. 400, 500 Mexicans actually died at the siege of the Alamo. The names have never been remembered, forgotten. And that creates division in our community. It continues to a surge of animosity and separatism. And that's what we need to heal and come together and accept what mistakes have been done in history to grow as a community. Social banditry. During that time, any of you have heard of lynching? It was very common. It was a very common practice here in Tejas actually up into the early 1900s. And Mexican people would lose their land. They would be stripped of their land. Spanish land grants would be invalidated in Tejas. People didn't know how to speak bilingual education. Mexican people didn't know how to speak English, so they would be taken to court and they wouldn't be able to defend themselves. So land grant were stripped of their land, and to assist in taking their land, violence was used, institutionalized violence, lynching. Y'all have the Texas Rangers. There's even a baseball team I think called the Texas Rangers here, right? Right? Okay. They were a private group to oppress the communities and terrorize. In a modern Gestapo in Germany, if any of you familiar with that term also. A lot of violence here. Into the early 1900s, you start seeing these signs across Tejas, like Zona N8. We serve whites only, no Spanish or Mexicans. There was actually worse ones. There was one that would say, no Mexicans are talked about. And those ideologies, how they're embedded and how they work, you know, how they influence generations to come. You know, I have a quote here from a book, Racism on Trial, actually. And it's a congressional testimony about agricultural workers, Mexicans. And they refer to them as dogs, you know, they're cheap, they work, their skin color makes them tolerant to hot conditions. You know, so when we look at contemporary time now, when teachers tell young Mexican kids or Latino kids, don't go to college, you know, use your hands to work, you know, I mean, you're not suited for school, you're not suited to get an education. How does ideology influence? And there's a history to this. There's a history that affects community. It affects how you think, it affects how you believe about yourself, it affects how you look at other people. So there's a history to this. Like I said previously, history can either liberate or oppress you. Now I want to finish with this quote. Internalized oppression. Racism, racial stereotypes, and fear of the other are important instruments of social control. So I kind of want to ask the audience, you know, how do you feel racism and racial stereotypes can control a person, according to what I've discussed? No right or wrong questions?
Well, if you feel that you are being discriminated against and you don't have all the opportunities that as everyone else, you just won't try. You will just give up and say, what difference does it make? Why should I even try to, attempt to do well? As a child, you're going to grow up and think, why should I try to do well in school, do well and be successful in high school when my parents and grandparents and past generations never even past 8th grade? Why should I even try to go to college? I mean, is there going to be there? I'm not going to be able to have opportunities like everyone else does. It kind of lowers your self-esteem, and you don't have that empowerment that you need to be successful, to become successful.
That's very true. Thank you for sharing that. How about over here? What do y'all think? Let me give you an example, just to help you think. Fear of the other, the scary people. What do we hear in the media right now about people invading from Mexico and Central America? How does that make you feel that all these people are immigrating to this country, legally or illegally, or that rhetoric we see in the news? How does that? I mean, how do you feel people interpret those messages?
Well, a lot of people interpret it like we're having all these people come over and they're going to take away our jobs, and we're going to have less. We don't even have to help the poor here and the homeless. Now we're going to have come up with more monies to try to help the people that are coming here. And they're interpreting that most people interpret that it's only Mexicans coming over, but it's actually people from all over different countries that are coming. It's not just Mexican people that are coming over here. You have people from many other countries, from all over the world, coming illegal to the United States. It's not just Mexicans.
Any other comments from audience? Any questions? Anything you would like to ask me or agree or disagree with me? Totally open. No? All right. Thank you for being here.